Hey, what's going on everybody? Joe here from Hard Hustle Printing, and what I want to do in this video is show you how I embroider unstructured hats. So whenever I post these hats on Instagram, I get a lot of questions on there. Questions will be like, am I using backing and how am I keeping it tight? Am I using the alligator clips or those clips, whatever they're called, to hold it tight? So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna show you how I embroider these hats right here. So this video has already been shot and I didn't realize it until I started editing the video that there was a lot of static in the video. Check this out. This video is embroidering some dad hats or unstructured hats. All right, so as you guys heard, that was bad. So I had to come back and reshoot the beginning of the video. You will hear some static throughout the video, but I just didn't want to go back because I already did the job. So I didn't have any more unstructured hats that I'm doing right now. So I did my best to minimize the static throughout the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass up a lot of the video that I've already shot, and I'm going to get to the point where the static was less than it was just in the beginning, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this video where I show you how we're loading it into the machine, and then we'll go with the video. If there is some parts in the video that have a lot of static, I muted them out. So hopefully those of you that have questions about unstructured hats, hopefully you guys get something out of this. And again, I am totally sorry for the audio in this video, so let's get it started. So we're going to be doing the hat, so we're simply just going to select it, and then we're going to put input. It's going to put it into the memory. We're going to hit yes. It's telling me that the design is already in the machine, so I'm just going to hit cancel, and then we're going to come over here and we are going to click the machine now, and then we're going to look for that logo in here and load it up. And you got 10 images on one screen, so we're just going to look for the one that says Southpaw. So it's not there, it's not there, and it's right here. So it doesn't say South, it said hat. So there's our hat. We're going to go ahead and now we're going to select it. We're going to put it into embroidery and embroider current design. We're going to hit yes. It's going to load it, and there's our image. And as you can see, we're already set up for hats. The design is already flipped. All we have to do is put our thread on there and then get ready to embroider it. So if you guys saw on the stitch out that it was navy and blue, we did 40 hats in the navy and blue, and now we're switching over to these navy hats, which they want green, and I believe it's either white or the navy in words. I got to look at their PO just to make sure. But I didn't have enough of this thread, so I ordered it. So I ordered one big one and 5 little ones. So the big one I will put up on my wall when it's done, and then the green one I will put in some bins that we have, so the next time the customer comes in and they ask for these navy hats again, we'll already have the thread. Let's load up one of these, and when we get done we will then set up the hats so we can start to embroider them. Okay, so it's a fairly simple process when it comes to changing out the thread. One thing you don't want to do if you're new to embroidery is you don't want to come back here and say we're going to put this on number 12. You don't want to pull this thread all the way out and then have to rethread the whole machine. So what you do is you come to the back and you will then go ahead and rip your screen, pop it apart, whatever you want to call it, and then you're going to take your new one, which is this green that we're going to be using, and we're simply just going to tie them together in a knot. And then make sure your knot is tight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to the front of the machine. Okay, if you look down the line over here, I've already loaded 4 hats. So I'm going to show you how to do 2 of them. We're simply going to take our cap ring and we're going to put it onto that. Then we're going to take our hat. We're going to straighten it out. I like to straighten it out. If you don't want to straighten it out, then it's on you. And then we're just using some tearaway backing. I'm using 2 of them because I ordered the wrong one. I didn't order the 3-ounce. I ordered a thin one, so I'm using 2 of them. I'm simply going to hold the backing in place with the brim of the hat in the front. So I'm taking my backing, loading it in there just like that, and then I'm going to hold them together. And now I'm going to come to this plate right here and I'm going to slide it underneath that. Got that in place. We're gonna make sure that our band, I like to make sure the band's out all the way. So if you look right here, I want to make sure it's out like that all the way around. When you get to the back here, you can't do it because it's sewn together with the back of the hat. So get what you can, and we're going to take our band that comes across here, and we're going to run these teeth across the front of the brim right here. Now you don't have to force this hat all the way down, because the farther you go down, the more this metal bar is going to stick out, and then you can't embroider lower to the hat. So we're going to do that. Run it across the front of it, hook it up to the bottom, and then we're simply going to lock it into place. So there's one. Now you see with our backing that we have in there, it's somewhat structured. It's still an unstructured hat, but with the backing in there, it's making it a little bit more tougher, sturdier, straighter, whatever it is. Alright, same thing again. Straighten it out. I like to straighten it out because whenever you try to put this on here and it's rounded the way the hat is, it's not going to go on there right, and you're going to be fighting to get this to come straight, and it's going to want to keep bending out on you. So I take the hat, and I'll make it straight myself. 2 or 3 sheets of this thin backing, and then we're simply going to slide it underneath again. So there we are, just like that. And then I'm going to hold it right here, and then I'll bring my band across there. And then again latching it at the bottom. So one of the big difference when embroidering on a 6 head from a single head is whenever you load this onto a single head, you can individually move this one hat to center it on the seam. Being that we're using 6 heads, this all runs on one axis, I guess we could say, right? So if I put the first hat on there and I center it, and then I go to the other hats and they're off a little bit, you cannot individually move those hats to center them. You have to do it all at one time. So if your hat is off a little bit, you don't have to bring it back to this station over here and re-hoop it and try to figure it all out. I'm going to show you how to center it on the machine so you don't have to do that. So let's do that. So as I'm doing these hats, I'm looking at needle number 1, and as you can see, the center of the hat is right here, and my needle is over here. So we have to get this piece to be here, and what I don't want to do is take the hat back to the cap station and then re-hoop it and try to get it right. So this is how you would do it on the machine. To do it on the machine, you're simply going to hold this band in place. You're going to hold it in place, and you're going to loosen the band, but you don't want to take it off because then the whole hat could be off register. I'm just going to slightly turn the hat, and then I'm going to reclamp it. And now if we look, whenever I pull the hat down, make it tight, if we look, our needle is falling right in the seam, so we know we're centered on the hat. The rest of the hats were good, so what we have to do now is we have to clamp down the hat. We have to make it tight so that it doesn't lose registration when it starts to embroider. So you should have got a bunch of these, or you should have got some of these with depending on the machine that you got. For every hat that you get, every head that you get, you should get 4 of them. So you should have enough to do them. If you don't, check Walmart, Amazon has everything, so just wherever. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pull this down tight, and underneath here, you guys know that there's a bar that sits right here. So you're simply going to pull the hat down, and you're going to clamp that to that bar. So do that. We're going to pull this down. We're going to grab it with our other hand, pull it nice and tight, and then flatten out the top. And if we look, now we have something that shouldn't move as it starts to embroider, because we put these clamps down here. Now I put 2 of them. If you want to put 4 of them, it's your preference, however you want to do it. So we're going to go down the line, and we're going to load all these on. Alright, so we're ready to go ahead and start embroidering. We've already got our hats hooped, we got our hats clamped, we've loaded our thread, we've pulled our thread, I've checked all the needles, everything is good to go. Now remember, whenever you're using a single head machine, all you have to worry about is that one head. Whenever you're using a multi-head machine, you have to make sure that all of them are running right. So on our first run, I like to check my tension across the board as it starts to embroider. So with that being said, everything is ready to go. I'm not going to put no music on for you guys. Y'all just going to hear the sound of embroidery, because every time I put music on, 3 or 4 months later down the road, it comes back and gives me a strike. So I'm not doing it no more. All right, so listen to the sound of embroidery. Okay, so I just hit the stop button, and what I want to show you is whenever you're embroidering, you want to make sure, what I've been doing is walking back and forth. I want to make sure that when this is embroidering, that this knockdown stitch or whatever the background stitch is nice and flat, especially when it comes to the little fine letters, especially this right here. You don't want it to look fluffy. So there's our first run. Let's take this first one off. Here's how it looks. Came out nice, clean, little letters look good, everything is good. So the back, go ahead and take these off. Drop them back into your little bin. Take our hat off. And now we're simply going to come to the inside. Because we use the tearaway, simply just going to pull this piece out. Stay with our embroidery on the inside, and then we're just going to take a lighter, one that works, and clean it up a little bit. Now you got to be careful when you're doing the outside. You don't want to hold it in one place too long, because you will burn the hat. So anything that you could see on there that needs to be fixed, take some little scissors. You should have some tweezers like this that came with your machine. Simply go in there, clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up, and then you're good to go. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to continue with these. Like I said, we got 18 more, so let me run these, and then we'll be back after we are done. Alright, so that's it. That's how easy it is to do unstructured hats or dad hats, whatever you're calling them. So if you are struggling with them, or you are looking to get into them but you heard a lot of different stuff about them, hopefully you learned something in this video that will help you out along the way. Also, don't forget, if you are looking to get into embroidery, there's a link down below for my viewers, my subscribers, and by you clicking that link, it's going to save you up to $250 when you purchase a machine from RICOMA. Again, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for all the support, and until next time, keep pressing.